story we're getting from Team Bird's Nest. But Top 5 doing a very, very nice job hanging around, sportsmanship. They could have called for the forfeit win at any point in time during that. They decided to play it out like true gentlemen. I am joined today, finally, by my co-caster, Chicago Ted. Ted, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing just fine. How about you, Gory?
I am doing all right. Very happy to have you here. And we are actually moving into our game. We've got the Abaddon band coming out of Top 5 and the Timbersaw band coming out of Bird's Nest. The Abaddon, not super typical for a first band these days. There was a little while where he was. And I think because a lot of the first pick first bands did receive some nerfing today, including the Elder Titan and the Venomancer, maybe some of those older Tier 2 style bands are going to start moving their way back into the top tier of banning.
No, I still think Venomancers are well as Elder Titan, but probably right with that, yep.
Yeah, we do actually have the Elder Titan band come out. I would not be surprised to see Venomancer still get picked a whole lot. Crystal Maiden still get picked a whole lot. No surprises so far in this draft. And we
got -2.
I'm actually having a little bit of trouble contacting or getting in touch with you there, Ted. I'm going to go ahead and give you a call on Skype.
How's that?
That is much better. I think the server problems that we were having were causing you to break up a little bit. I'm just trying to mute co-broadcasters. That's on. All right, cool. We are back into the game.
Much better. Yep, I can hear you a lot more loud, so that's good.
Very, very good. All right, so let's jump back to our draft. We're going to get the Lich pick out of Top 5. That's pretty solid. That doesn't really give away any game plans. They could dual mid. They could throw that Lich off lane. They could also, of course, put that Lich into a tri-lane, either in aggressive or defensive. He pretty much fits anywhere.
Hey, how about that? We got Slark banned out in the first banning phase. He just got added to Captain's mode and already getting the hate in this game.
That does not surprise me. Slark is, if there's a hero who's in Captain's mode right now that I would peg as somebody who needs a little bit of rebalancing, I would probably say that it's Slark. Being able to be invisible every 30-40 seconds and not being able to be removed or visible by any sort of vision on the map, including sentries, gem, or dust, is a little haywire in my opinion. Personally, I've seen a lot of pub games where Slark has absolutely run rampant, and I think Bird's Nest is pretty smart to be a little bit afraid of that.
Yeah, but it's only a short amount of time. Visage and Gyrocopter, though, getting picked out, and they coordinate very well with the slow as well as the Rocket Barrage.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see a Venomancer come out for Team Bird's Nest along with that Visage and
the
Gyrocopter.
Definitely.
That's a kill lane. The Clockwork does imply that Top 5 will be going for the defensive tri-lane. He's in the aggressive solo lane, one of the most defensive heroes in the game. Very, very hard to kill. Because of that, it would give their tri-lane a little bit more comfort. So Top 5 might be going for a little bit more of a farming style strategy into a mid game rather than out of the gate early. Which means that Juggernaut band may not be necessarily the best of bands, because he's more of a pushing carry, and we might not be seeing a straight pushing team coming out of Top 5.
No, Top 5 actually look like they have a very gank-oriented lineup. Yeah. Clockwork and Lich, known for their burst damage, take out units fairly quickly. When you got a Gyrocopter on the field who's a relatively squishy carry in the earlier portions of the game, if they catch him out with a hook, get the Chain Frost out there, it might be a little difficult for Bird's Nest to have to deal with that.
Especially if Top 5 does decide they want to go for a Lifestealer, which is definitely on the table at this point. Lifestealer does very well in the defensive tri-lane. He works extremely well with the Clockwork because of the Infest bomb with the hookshot. And he also would not... I mean, he would work pretty well with a Lich as well. He's able to slow units down and kind of get in the middle of them, cause some confusion for that Chain Frost to really come into full effect.
I think it was a great ban out to get pick up to get Storm Spirit out of the pool. And if Top 5 could have gotten the Storm Spirit, I would imagine they would have picked that up immediately. Yeah. That and the Puck just to go with the Lifestealer. But it looks like they're not going to opt not to go with the Lifestealer. They're going to pick up an Alchemist. So
Alchemist does not necessarily tell me that the Lifestealer is an incoming, just because support Alchemist has been really popular the last 2 weeks.
Well, yes, definitely.
But I tend to say that support Alchemist is not as successful as the carry Alchemist. I think that for a team as skilled as Bird's Nest, or excuse me, as skilled as Top 5, We're probably going to see that in a farming position, but it's really very difficult to call based on the changes in the meta that we've been seeing as of
Well,
late.
say goodbye to Venomancer. Bringing on the slows, we're going to have the snot-filled Bristleback take the field.
Bristleback is a great pick here as well, especially since Bird's Nest has obviously, that patch just came out. So they haven't had a chance to play around with the changes to Venomancer, especially the Plague Ward vision changes at night. It makes a difference to the hero. And
Oh yeah,
Bristleback hasn't been changed, so they might as well go with something that's maybe just a little more stable for them.
yeah, and it's a really strong hero too. You get a couple stacks up in that in the Quill Spray, and you never know what hit you. It just does more and more damage.
Yeah, you get a heart and a blade mail on a Bristleback, or basically any sort of life, and he seems unkillable.
Oh yeah. I mean, if there's any team, though, it's Burst Magic, and that looks like that's what Top 5 is going for. So, I mean, you got the physical armor reduction of the Alchemist. You've got all this magic damage that can come out. It might be a little bit of an issue for Bristleback to have to deal with, but
I think Bristleback very well. He's one of these heroes that rushes pipe pretty frequently, and so as long as the Bristleback is able to get a little bit of farm and maybe get involved in a couple of early game kills, I don't see the burst damage being a huge problem unless Top 5 were to pick up something like a Lina on top of what they have, or maybe a Puck, which is still on the board, is still potentially an issue.
a Puck, definitely an issue. Queen of Pain could also be a bit of a thorn in your side.
Yeah, Queen of Pain would be also a really good pickup. The one issue with the Queen of Pain is that in a matchup against Storm, she doesn't have quite the advantage on Storm that Puck is, although I would give that matchup to a Queen of Pain over a Storm typically.
Queen of Pain is an incredibly strong mid laner, so I definitely wouldn't count her out against the Storm Spirit. Looking at the team right now, though, they could go in any direction they want with a mid. They could even decide to kind of sack the mid lane a little bit and pick up some real team fight controlling mid lane, possibly in the form of a Magnus, just to get all the enemy together and really increase the effectiveness of the Chain Frost.
We're gonna grab a Lion. So here's the other thing about this mid situation that we're talking about that is it makes this very, very difficult to call. For the Top 5 is drafting this extremely well in terms of sowing confusion, because that Lion could go mid. I've seen Lion mid in CEVO a couple times this season already. That Alchemist could go mid. He's been going mid lately, not infrequently. The Lich could dual lane the mid, or could even, in theory, solo lane the mid, although that would not be a very prudent choice. So right now, what does Team Bird's Nest do? Do they ban out a carry, assuming that that's going to be an Alchemist that's a support? Do they ban out a mid, assuming that there is no mid on the table? They really don't know what they need to do.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, both teams maturing out their draft really well, but both not really giving too much away. I mean, of course, Storm Spirit will probably be taking the mid. I don't imagine they're going to try to switch it up on the Top 5 anytime soon. But they are confused. It definitely seems like it with their final ban. I mean, Top 5, they could run pretty much any of these heroes anywhere.
Yeah.
So, they're going to go ahead and get rid of the Invoker, which I'm not sure. That might be a respect ban if you've casted these teams before.
I don't recall Invoker. I've cast both these teams before, but I cast a lot of teams, and so I don't necessarily have all of the players quite yet in my pocket. I don't think Invoker is one of these heroes that Top 5 is known for running. I think possibly what they were worried about is the Sunstrike combination with the Rocket Flares being just too much global counter push. I think that might be what Bird's Nest is confused on, or what their issue is. I agree. I don't think that Invoker pick is particularly strong. But
they could see something we don't. I mean, do you think Invoker is particularly strong against a hero like a Bristleback? I mean, I know Deafening Blast, getting rid of the auto attack change to the Gyrocopter could be an issue for them, but there are so many better ways to deal with that in the form of like a Heaven's Halberd or something along those lines. So
the other reason that the Invoker is kind of a toss-up ban for me is that right now Top 5 is clearly coming out big strong. There is going to be the Venomancer.
Oh man,
that Bristleback is going to be an off-lane Bristleback, and that Venomancer is going to come in with the Visage.
Oh man, that is a lane that every pro player is scared of. The Venomancer Visage lane. You just can't get caught by those slows. So the Gyrocopter is going to do more damage to you than you can take.
Yeah, with a Gyrocopter in there as well was possibly the played right in the right position, Gyrocopter can possibly pump out more level 1 damage than any other hero in the game.
Yeah.
And Visage, Venomancer absolutely can set up a Gyrocopter like almost no other combo is. I'm really glad to see that Venomancer come out alongside the Bristleback instead of having Bristleback take his place. This being said, this means that the Bristleback will probably be on his own. Bristleback does not off-lane Suicide Lane particularly well because he doesn't have an escape. He can do all right, but against the tri-lane with a double stun, which is what we're going to be looking at, I think that we very well could see this be an aggressive tri-lane from Bird's Nest with the safe lane Bristleback and then the Storm Spirit in the mid.
Yeah, it could work like that. Bristleback, I've noticed, is actually stronger than you give him credit for in the Suicide Lane. No, he doesn't have an escape, but if he turns his back, it's damage mitigation. You need to stun lock him really hard to be able to kill him. Otherwise, you're just not going to do the damage, and you got to be careful because he can turn around and kill you easily with a Quill Spray. So I'll just let you go ahead and announce the teams.
Run through our players here. We've got Fight with me hitting on the Lone Druid for top 5. We've got Fly on the Alchemist. We have Life Winner on the Lich. We have a lot of pings going off on that Korya. We've got Give Frostivus on the Clockwork. And Shanks is going to be taking the Lion. And we are going to see this be an off lane for Bird's Nest. You were right. That Bristleback is going to go in the off lane. That is going to be held by Revolution. EVZ is going to be hanging out on the Storm Spirit. We've got Big Bad Bird on the Gyrocopter. 604 on the Visage, or Visage. And W4 will be holding out the Venomancer. Now, this is a really dangerous lane for this Bristleback in particular. We've got the potential... eventually, you're going to have the potential for the Entangle. But you're also going to be having the Lion with the double stun. And no, Alchemist is going to take the mid, and it looks like this could potentially be a dual mid. Or this Lich might just do a Dark Sacrifice and then rotate up.
Alright, well... I was pinging out that courier because we got a Platinum Roshan on the field.
Oh, yeah, look at that guy. But I'm going to go switch over overlays here. And we should be good.
Oh, man, and a War Dog. What's with these couriers, man?
These guys take their courier seriously. Support play is based entirely on how good your courier is.
Oh yeah, you certainly don't want a good courier like that to die, so maybe we won't see as many courier kills this game.
I'd like to point out that each team really prioritizing very similar ground on their respective sides. As far as warding, both teams holding on to a ward as well. I'm going to go and take a look at our starting items. We see Alchemist has been pulled a bunch of tangos, and he's saving money. He should be going for, it looks like, an early bottle, but it's hard to tell. Right now we've got a tri-lane mid. Go ahead.
He's going to grab that bottle to send out the acid spray quite often. That's one of those harassing things in the mid lane that makes Alchemist really hard to fight.
Yeah. It's really one of the only saving graces to a mid Alchemist, too, because he's a melee hero, which most mid heroes are not. He's a strength hero, which means that he doesn't attack particularly fast in the early game. And he has some trouble against a lot of traditional mid laners, but that acid spray does a lot of damage over time and can really turn a game around, particularly if an Alchemist decides to be aggressive or gets heavy ganks on his side.
Yep, and they've already dewarded the bottom rune, so Alchemist has more rune coverage, he has more vision, and now I don't think he has to worry as much about a gank.
Yeah, Clock is trying to leech a little bit of XP here down in the bottom, taking a couple of auto attacks, but nothing really to write home about so far. He has been completely zoned out, though, so far. He's not level 2 yet. He is unable to even get close to the lane creeps, and he got zoned out of the camp leech in addition. Not where he wants to be. He's going all the way back, looks like, just trying to block these creeps. He's going to try to get the side pull. He does miss one, and he's accidentally blocking in one of them as well. So he manages to catch 3 of them. That will bring him back to the tower very quickly, which should help him move into the, you know what?
Not a bad block at all.
I just realized that the Dota glitch that occurs in Steam that causes open mic to not be open mic if you even look at your audio settings.
Smoke gets revealed in the bottom rune, so that smoke attempt has failed.
Yeah. So I just want to apologize everybody in Dota TV that my mic was not working due to that Dota glitch. I hope that they patch that soon. But I do see that
like
my mic is working again.
we
We do have Alchemist moving on Storm here in the mid. There's going to be one stun. Lich has thrown out the slow as well. EVZ taking a lot of damage, a couple of auto attacks, but they are going to have to turn around. EVZ actually trying to turn that on them. The Venomancer did come up to support, didn't end up being necessary. Fly and Life Winner decided to turn around before.
Yep, so that's a pretty good reversed attempt by the rating here, by Bird's Nest. They got rid of that gank, and if Top 5 had decided to chase any farther, they would have seen some serious trouble. I could have imagined they could have turned that around to be 0-2 if they had chased on up onto the high ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Very nice rotation coming out of W4. We are going to have a pause here coming out of the Clockwork. So far, no first blood. We are sitting at 3:14, sitting at pi 3.14 into this game, and still no first blood. That's a little abnormal for these two teams. Both Bird's Nest and Top 5 have a tendency to like to be moderately aggressive, do a moderate amount of rotation, more than some other CEVO teams. So, presumably, we are going to see a little bit more action here moving into the later portions of the early game, particularly because this Venomancer and Visage combo wants to be as active as possible. This is the point in time in the game where they're really going to shine as supports.
Definitely.
We are going to see this Lone Druid completely free farming up here, essentially. Revolution has not been able to contest farm. He's been able to get his levels up fairly well, which has been at least really where he needs to be minimally. But Lone Druid can outcarry just about anything that Bird's Nest is going to be pulling out, with the exception of a late-game Gyrocopter. But presumably Lone Druid is going to be moving into that a little bit faster than Gyrocopter will.
Well, you kill the bear, you kill the Lone Druid, essentially, and they do have plenty of ways to lock down the bear if they need to. The Gyrocopter can output a lot of damage, you're right. Bristleback, though, we can't really count him out just yet because, I mean, Quill Spray will take down anything relatively quickly. And when you got a hero as squishy as Lone Druid, typically is earlier on. He's got to be really careful not to let Bristleback sneak up on him.
Yeah, Lion's been doing a really good job of running interception plays up here and not allowing that Bristleback to come up close to Lone Druid. Every time the Bristleback tries to move up this way, Lion basically just shows his head and starts... I've actually seen him fake cast once, cast and cancel his animation, just to throw the Bristleback off. But it is worth noting that Lion is only level 1 because of his efforts. He's been completely out of lane.
Yeah, Lion's one of those supports that you really want levels on fast, so I imagine they might rotate him mid as Alchemist gets a lot of farm, maybe rotates through the jungle so that Lion can get some levels up, but right now last hitting is fairly equal between Gyrocopter and Lone Druid.
Yeah. Gyrocopter will become scary faster than Lone Druid will, but he will end up peaking and then troughing, whereas the Lone Druid just has a steady uprise. So in the mid game, the Gyrocopter will be able to output damage like nobody's business, and then he'll kind of trough off, and that's the point in time when the Lone Druid wants to make sure he's at least keeping par with the Gyrocopter. That's when they're going to start pushing hard, right around that 16-minute mark.
Clockwork will also be able to kill the Gyrocopter a lot easier than a Bristleback will be able to kill a Lone Druid.
Absolutely.
So
especially
once
since
Clockwork
Lone Druid has that defensive entangle attempt that he can always use to try and get away from the Bristleback. We do have first blood. Mid. Double
it looks like
rune.
Yep, it looks like they got the DD, the unstable concoction, and the acid spray down. That's a decent amount of damage they just output there.
Yeah, I will say, in terms of Top 5's play, I really do like that they ended up running a 2-1-2. I'm not sure that the dual lane mid was necessary here, but it seems to be working out for them, obviously. They got first blood off of it. Alchemist is farming up perfectly fine. And so is the Lone Druid. Oh, we are going to have a lot of action here in Revolution. He has been stunned out, and he will go down here. Lion actually taking that kill. Lone Druid was within range to get that kill. That was maybe a little bit of questionable support play, throwing out the spikes, but they did manage to get the kill, so a kill is better than no kill.
Yeah. And you said Lion got the kill. That is decent because it gives him some farm. It allows him to pick up a couple more smokes and try to gank other lanes, which it looks like he's going to be doing that. Storm Spirit, is he level 6 yet? Not yet, so any attempt made on his life, they can change the stuns off. They can probably kill him fairly easily.
Yeah.
Up, here they go.
Coming in. There's the one stun coming out of line. 3.5 is up, which means there's going to be a full stun, and Fly is going to take that kill. No, Lion actually took that kill as well. Shank's running around taking kills all day long.
He's getting XP though, which is exactly what he needs, and Lone Druid picks up a Midas.
Yeah, the rotations getting the kills is certainly not a problem. Even a support getting killed once in a while, definitely not a problem. But if you can give those to your carries, you want to be feeding those to your carries. And in both cases, the carry was within range, and in at least one of the cases, carry was actually mid-animation when the kill went out. So either way, though, Shanks did manage to shoot himself up to level 4 from level 1 just off the backs of those ganks, essentially.
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing. Bristleback gets his level 6, though, which means he's going to be a little bit more difficult to fight, get a couple of points up in that warpath. He's going to be outputting a lot of damage already at 110.
Bristleback in that off lane managed to get level 6 before Storm Spirit in the mid lane. That's how well Fly and Life Winner are managing to hold Storm Spirit out of the way.
Right, right. I mean, this Storm Spirit's really susceptible to ganks in the early game.
He really is. As a mid-hero, Gyrocopter manages to get a kill down here bottom while we're chit-chatting. I assume that, yeah, it was just a Rocket Barrage alongside a couple of slows according to cooldown. Yeah, Gale went out, so not a lot you could do. I don't know what that Clockwork was doing off in that secret shop.
With all the damage on Big Bad Bird, he might have actually gotten a gank, an attempt off on Gyrocopter's life.
Yeah,
so
it looks like he had probably been probably scooted around to try and get something going on that Gyrocopter in the secret shop, and neglected to realize that there were 2 supports with very, very strong chain slows.
Up and top, we got an entangle out on Bristleback.
Bristleback is taking a couple of auto attacks. Revolution now on the ground. He's throwing out the Ghoul Spray, and he also throws out the goo. The Lone Druid's in a little bit of danger here. He uses his ult trying to get a little bit of extra health, and it does give him a little bit of extra health. He's down to 200, 140. Now Revolution has been frozen down. He will go down thanks to a nice rotation coming out of Life Winner. Life Winner basically making and breaking the top 2 lanes out of this game.
Oh man, you have to put a lot of credit to that entangle that got the Bristleback right at the end of that fight.
Yeah,
kept him from getting that last Quill Spray off that would have ended Lone Druid's life.
You gotta love that RDM. Comes out and saves a Lone Druid almost every time, it seems like.
Almost.
look at these wards, right on top of each other. Both teams only have the one set of wards up, and they are...
Sentry's just out of range.
Yeah, look at that. Oh wow, by just out of range, we're talking like 30 to 100 units. That is nothing. What a bummer for this mid lane to be in sight and not realize it.
Well, they still have the offensive ward up, which is good. They'll be able to see the Storm Spirit as well as any rotations to come and help them out. Bottom lane.
Bottom lane, we are seeing some action, and got down there just in time to watch Frostfist manage to take down the Visage.
Yep, I saw green fly across the map, so I imagine there was a hook.
We're going to have a TP reaction top, and it looks like we may be looking at a gank/push. Just for everybody in the stream, you can actually see now where this offensive ward for the Alchemist gives so much vision that he otherwise would not have. Really helps out with those ganks. Yep, we are going to see some action. Revolution has been entangled down. He's going to go ahead and try to goo the Lich to give W4 a chance to get away. Shanks throws out the stun, hits W4. There goes the Chain Frost, and it is going to kill W4. Revolution now coming in, manages to grab the Lich, and the useless rocket is going to hit his corpse just for good measure. Now Fight with me, excuse me, is trying to back up.
Oh man, he could turn us around.
Fight again while his bear tries to get entangled. So far, no good. A lot of slows coming out. The goo is going to come out again here as with the Quill Spray, and that should be Visage pulling off before that.
As well as the entangle.
Yeah, the entangle on the Bristleback, and Visage pulled off to give Bristleback the kill, and it actually allowed the Lone Druid to get away. But
that's a level 1 rocket. It's not going to kill him. Only 110 damage.
He's going to get away. What an entangle. What a debacle for Bird's Nest. Already down 4 kills. Already having so much trouble. They managed to turn it around in such a big way and just gave it off. So Bird's Nest having the opposite problem that Top 5 is having. Top 5 having the problem where kills aren't being given up when they should. And Bird's Nest having the problem where it turns out they tried to give a kill that maybe should have been taken.
You got a double damage in the Clockwork, and he's got his hook. This could be the death of W4.
W4
if they see him,
actually TPing out. Oh! And he misses the hook shot. It hit the golem, I think.
I don't know what happened there, but it was a little late on his reaction to seeing the TP from Venomancer.
Yeah, W4 was actually in the shadow of that tree there, so he had to come around for the parallax.
The name of that fight, though, that happened up top was the Bristleback, of course, on Bristleback, where there was just so much damage reduction. Even though they got the Entangle on him, they weren't able to do the damage. And the fact that he lived was one of the main reasons why they gave up the Visage as well as almost gave up the Lone Druid.
Yeah, and honestly, they should have given up. Like, the Lone Druid there not getting taken up is just an absolute break of luck for them. Really, really, really worked out in their favor, but that fight could have gone so much worse for top 5. I still, that stone golem, or the mud golem down here in the jungle, just managed to save the Venomancer as well. We're seeing a lot of sort of spur of the universe saves in this game. The mud golem, 2 entangle saves. Really, the Dota gods are smiling on both these teams at different times.
Yeah, but only one can win the game right now, and it's like rotations up to the top lane. Can they get down on Big Bad Bird fast enough? It looks like they're going to recall the bear. They are not going for it.
They decided to pull back. You could tell because Lich came up this way and then decided to, before the bear was even pulled back. I think Lich may have been even the one to call, don't go in on that. He decided not to do the full Delta split. I'm kind of surprised to see Bird's Nest out pushing top 5. I mean, Bird's Nest does have the Bristleback, the Gyrocopter, and the Venomancer, all of whom push fairly well. But, I mean, top 5 has a max Acid Spray Alchemist alongside a Lone Druid with a maxed Bear. That should be towers at some point in time or another. The fact that they're unable to get out and get forward and get some of that gold is really testament to how well Bird's Nest is controlling the pace of this game, even though they're a little behind.
Well, the towers come from team fights. We only got one tower down in the game right now, and that came from the failed team fight that came from top 5. So,
yeah.
Of course, I mean, towers are going to fall. In fact, level 8, full level bear is now going to tower on the tower. So.
Yeah, and Lion is going to rotate down here into the mid. There's the one stun on EBS. There's a Lion just going to use the finger. And not even bothering to get in range of the stun. Lich managing to get that kill. This poor Alchemist can't get his hands on a kill for his life. They are top 5, as we said that, as we were talking about towers, looking to try and knock down as many as they can. They've got mid almost down. Not quite in deny range yet. Very smart of this Alchemist to back off before he gets the tower into deny range for this Visage.
Definitely. I mean, Alchemist isn't getting kills right, but he still has the second highest net worth in the game.
Yeah.
So.
And he's not even going Greevil's Greed. Like, he's got one Greevil's Greed, still second highest net worth.
He's still got that that Midas, though, that value.
Yeah, Midas. Worth noting, the Midas did just get a small nerf. I think it's 150 extra gold to buy one now.
It makes no difference for carries, in my opinion, but when you're talking about a support who needs that money and who gets it very slowly, I think that we're going to see less, if not Crystal Maiden less Midases, but on most other supports, we're definitely going to see a lack of Midas in that department.
I agree that for a carry, especially a level-dependent carry, the Midas is still going to be just as popular as it has been. But remember, pushing off that extra 150, even if you're CSing pretty well, we're looking at 30, 35 seconds in between. 30 to 35 seconds in a current meta where games are often ending at like 16 to 20 minutes. It's something. I mean, I don't think it'll change the popularity of it, but it will slightly shift the pace of the game.
Right. Okay, so we got to charge up on Alchemist Unstable Concoction. Are they going to make a go on this? It looks like.
He's just going to stun himself out as back in the safety of his own jungle.
That was a great reaction by Bird's Nest there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rocket doing good amounts of damage, it looks like, bringing everyone down to about half health.
Yeah. Gyrocopter almost has his Black King bar up already.
Ugh, he's getting an early Black King bar?
Yeah, he's not going for any damage early, he's going straight for the survive building, and that's probably because of the Lion Lich combo. He doesn't want to have to deal with it.
Definitely, but he's going to have to deal with it at some point or another, and early game, I can see why he'd want the farm early so that he becomes more relevant later, but he's going to be dealing with a very quick-ending...
a nice hook, but it actually hits one of the familiars. Sorry to cut you off. They're going to go ahead and throw the stun out on 604. There's the cogs, and 604 is going to go down to the Lion. Lion throwing out the long stun, managing to grab that kill as well.
Wow, they got a Visage Bird in that too.
The Storm is going to come up and try to grab Frostus. He is taking a lot of damage. Oh, manages to land the cogs. He could. Oh, he does not quite get in. The creep managing to finish him off.
Fly barely getting the vision for that stun. Are they going to be able to kill him? It looks like EDZ will die.
Yeah, he will go down, but now the call down is doing good damage to Lich. Big Bad Bird is going to be faster than Lich. He's going to be forced out by Fly, though, and Fly's going to throw out that stun as soon as he gets vision. The smoke tries to go out, but it's not enough. They're too close. The stun goes out on the Bristleback. Instead, Big Bad Bird trying to juke around the edge of this cliff.
No,
he's stuck. He's going to be chopped down. Yeah. Fly is no fool. He knows exactly what's going on there. Revolution coming in. And they're going to turn this around. 604, doing a little bit of damage. He is going to get hit by one of those full stuns thrown at 3.5 as well. Revolution trying to throw down some slows. He wants to re-engage. Shanks does not have a lot of mana here, but he could steal some from Revolution if Revolution keeps following. In fact, he just got enough mana for a stun. Using his wand. Going to throw out the stun and get those charges off of Fly. Fly going to back up. Now EBZ running to grab Shanks, and Shanks will go down.
At least getting something from that.
This is a game, I don't know if I've ever cast a game where there have been this many handoffs. Oh my god. Very nice long range hook. 604 taking a lot of damage to Battery Assault doing a fair amount of stun as well. He can't go anywhere. Now, the slows are going down on Crossfit. Crossfit taking a lot of damage from the Quills. He has been pulled. And the stun is going to come out from the Alchemist onto Revolution right here. And we
could live.
Yeah.
He just used his wand, so now he's got a good 300, 400 health. I mean,
already mech'd him too. There's going to be the stun coming out of the Alchemist.
Yeah, but one Quill Spray should be enough to bring him down to almost like 20 health. And there it is. He's going to get it.
He is going to go down.
Fly actually stunning himself.
Yeah, I think that was a tactical pause situation. He stunned himself probably because of that pause. He is going to go down.
Oh, man.
Revolution just outputting insane amounts of damage at this point.
Top 5 was winning that fight for the longest time, but it looks like they might drop a bit of an advantage. They were sitting at a 5,000 at the peak of that fight, 7,500 in terms of XP, but now it's starting to dip up a little bit. How far it will be determined in a couple of seconds when it updates, but...
And there's the stun. Doink. Just waiting for it to hit. Yeah, no, Top 5... The Lone Druid really needs to get enough farm to be active, like, now.
Yep. He's got a relic, so he's going to be picking up the Radiance. He's got his Radiance right now.
Radiance at 18 minutes, that's pretty solid.
Oh, yeah.
You never really have to complain when your Lone Druid's been inactive, but he gets an 18-minute Radiance and is going to be able to throw the bear in their faces for the rest of the game.
8,800 net worth right now. I could calculate GPM on top of my head, but I don't want to.
It's 475.
Wow, okay, wow. Jeez, quick with that, man. Oh, yeah.
There's a readout in Dota.
Oh, god damn. Wait, that's right. What did I have that bound to again? Oh, yeah, par. Right there. Wow. I feel silly.
It's alright. Happens to the best of us. We are going to see the smoke, and they're going to immediately see this W4.
Oh,
Clockwork's coming in. He's got some support. He doesn't really need it. Lich taking that kill. So many kill handoffs this game, where one hero has all but secured a kill, and then another hero comes up and manages to grab it. I don't know if any of the kills we've seen this Lich grab have been kills where he's instigated the kill. Same for the Lion, but I mean, the kills are the kills. I'm not trying to start anything, but both teams have been doing this a lot.
And they're going to go for Roshan. They don't have a Medallion of Courage, so he's going to go down with all that armor on top of him, but...
Yeah. It's not going to be different. With this bear doing this much damage, they'll be able to take him down in the next 20 seconds.
Yep. And he's...
Bird's Nest has no idea.
Well, now they do.
And they have an idea. Now maybe a little too late. They might get a courier snap. Nope, the Familiar is not going off that way.
I don't think they're going to be able to get in position. Yeah, they got people all over.
They're not even trying. They're not even trying to get in position.
They might try to get the Roshan kill, though, if they can stomp at the right time. Get that. Nah, I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Right, is he going to get to that?
He does not grab the kill, though.
Nope. He ends up losing both birds in the process, too.
Yeah,
so
I think he has a resummon. No, he does. Well, yeah, he must, because it's... Maybe? Maybe not. No, he doesn't. He does not have a resummon, so he's actually out his Familiars for that. I don't know that that was worth it, considering how unlikely that was for getting that Roshan steal.
It looks like Bristle picks himself up a Heaven's Halberd. Is that going to be against Alchemist or Lone Druid's Bear? I think Alchemist.
It's really very situational. Lone Druid's Bear is going to be doing a lot more in terms of prolonging these fights and allowing these fights to get out of hand. But Alchemist is going to be pumping away with a lot more damage. So
definitely.
It depends on positioning, I think, at the current moment. There's no go-to standard. There's just so much physical DPS coming out of top 5 at this point that there's a lot of good targets. Lone Druid himself is probably going to be doing a fair amount of damage in a lot of these fights. His bear is going to be doing even more.
Up, smoke up, Blue might get caught, he gets hooked up, and Cogs then he is dead.
W4 is going to take a lot of damage there, and Lich manages to finish that kill off as well. Lich sitting at 7-1-1. Devastating, this team. They are going to just rotate through.
Tower is falling fast, that Demolish on the bear is just doing way too much damage, and they could even take a tier 2 if they really wanted to.
They probably will force it since they have the Aegis. I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yep. They have TP rotations though. It looks like EVZ though. He's gonna get hexed up. And can he get out?
Yeah,
no.
He's not gonna be able to get out of that. Now remember what I said earlier in the game. About 16 to 20 minutes, this Syllabear is gonna be absolutely wrecking this Gyrocopter in terms of control. Look at this, 20 minutes, Syllabear. Gyrocopter can't take a contest. Up until this point in the game, Bird's Nest has been behind, but they've been able to control the pace. They got the first tower. Yeah, this bear is gonna go down, but there's a reset. So.
Yep, that's 300 gold going the way of Bristleback. But I mean, we take a look, and there is a lot to say about the net worth in this game. Gyrocopter just was not able to keep up with the farm of the Lone Druid, and that's really hurting him. If the Gyrocopter had more net worth than the Druid, I have no doubts the Gyrocopter could do a little bit more in these fights, but I mean, you got a Radiance on the bear at this point. Lone Druid's farm is just going to accelerate out of control, and Gyrocopter's got nothing but a BKB. I mean, that's the problem with getting this early BKB.
Yeah, I will also follow that up with, not only does he have BKB, but he's going Lifesteal second. He's going pure survivability. He's not getting any damage. And I don't know how they expect to take down an Alchemist or a Lone Druid, two extremely tanky heroes, without any primary DPS.
I mean, they can only rely on Bristleback for so long. With that Warpath, he does a good amount of damage. I mean, we can see he's chunking down the Alchemist and the Lone Druid Bear for a good chunk of their health at the moment, but that's going to start to fall off, and when it does, you have to rely on the Gyrocopter to deal the damage. If he can't deal the damage, then it's a losing situation.
Yeah, Storm will be going for an Orchid, but it's going to be coming out really late. And, yeah, he's not able to do a significant amount of damage here either. This Storm, not yet. I mean, Storm will end up being able to DPS carry, but he has not been built to be doing a whole bunch of damage. And he's actually doing comparable damage to the Lone Druid himself, not even the Spirit Bear.
But he's going to be picking up an Orchid.
Yeah.
And it's a ways off at the moment, but once he does, he's going to be a little bit more effective. But the Radiance is already on the bear, the tier 2 in the mid lane is taking a lot of damage, and they don't look like they want to engage, rather they don't look like they can engage.
Yeah. Honestly, I have a little bit of trepidation about whether or not that Storm is going to last, whether or not this game is going to last long enough for this Storm Spirit to get that hook off, considering how slow going it's been.
You got a Venomancer though. Oh no.
Okay, Frostfist is going to come into a big world of hurt, but he's force-saps himself back out. As those cogs, W4 is going to be taken down by combo stuns from Shanks and Fly. Now, we do have full Soul Assumption up on the Visage. He could probably take out this bear with that. He is going to try, and yeah, there we go. 300 gold. And there is no resummon. Oh no, there is. Wow,
so,
I thought that was less than 120 seconds ago, but I guess it's just been an uneventful 120 seconds.
They got the Venomancer, which means there are no wards to try to slow this push for the time being. They can freely get this tier 2 now.
Yeah. And they can do it without any risk.
Watch out, Big Bad Bird. He's going to die to the ult from Shanks. EVZ pulling him in with a static vortex.
Shanks is going to... He's going to be mech'd by the Lich. And now there's no more mana on Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit had to actually do a very roundabout way there. Goes down. Probably should have tried to zip over this ledge instead. This is probably going to be a GG
game.
Yeah.
Yep. There are too many people dying. Yep. It's almost a team wipe. It is.
That is a team wipe.
They can get racks now. In fact, they can get 2 sets of racks now.
Actually, the Spirit Bear isn't going to be able to attack because Lone Druid backed out. And that's their primary source of damage to towers. They might have to back out here.
Why do they back out with a Spirit Bear with a Lone Druid with an Aegis?
I do not know. That was a really questionable call.
No, you can't.
A serious boon for Bird's Nest, though. I mean, It doesn't look like they're in a position to really turn this around, but if there's a team that can do it, a team with a Storm Spirit and Gyrocopter might be that team. Gyrocopter, eventually, once there's some damage built on him, will be able to basically knock down this Lich and Lion by ignoring them. Just by being in the general vicinity, Lich and Lion will go down.
All you need to pick up a Divine Rapier is BKB and Lifesteal.
We go the good old Havos route, grab 3 of those guys.
Call them the GG branches for Havos.
Yeah. I don't know if you caught that game at MLG Columbus where Havos bought 3 Divine Rapiers in one game.
Yep.
That was...
I loved that game.
That was possibly the craziest game I've seen in... probably since, like, TI2.
I've seen some pretty crazy Na'Vi Alliance games, to be fair, so... I mean, I don't think craziest since TI2, but definitely has a lot of noteworthiness in it that we haven't seen in a while, so...
Gyrocopter does have his helm up, and hopefully now he'll go for something in terms of damage. Monkey King Bar, something. Anything really to get some damage out.
I don't think a Monkey King Bar would be good. I think he needs to go big or go home at this point.
I just don't think he'll have time to get a Divine up. Getting something in smaller increments, because he'll be able to get 1,500 up for Javelin. Honestly, even getting a Demon Edge at this point is... It's a toss-up whether or not he'll be able to get that much far.
I'm not sure. If he dies regardless, I mean, it doesn't really matter about his, if he can build up in increments. If he dies, his game's pretty much over. And
he's going to die right here.
Yep.
And they are going to probably push in the top or mid. They've got their option. They have the poo-poo platter of lanes to push in at this point. And they actually do have Alchemist knocking down the tower up here as well.
So, I mean, they had the perfect opportunity to try to turtle this out, and they got caught out by their Ancient Camp. So, not incredible.
I mean, and what else could you possibly expect? The warding coming out of top 5 is really aggressive and really stellar. Obviously, Gyrocopter needs to get farmed somewhere. He can't just stay in the base indefinitely. All his lanes were pushed out.
We'll get the pixel back underneath the tier 3, but can they take him out? They can. No, he's doing a lot of damage. Yep. That's going to be Lone Druid going right back behind the lines and just showing why he's a strong hero.
Yeah, Lone Druid not playing very much in the meta anymore, not that popular.
Watch out.
Yeah, EBC is going to take a lot of damage. He's going to go down. Gyrocopter's going to go down next. Not even going to be able to take out this Lich probably. Because now there's an entangle on the Black King Bar, which is another one of those reasons that Black King Bar is a little crazy as an item, because the entangles are still going to do plenty of damage. So, GG's to fly. Yeah, very, very nice game from top 5. They had a dominating control of this game from the first game. Basically, they just never gave up control. BN had pacing control for a little while, but overall, in terms of commanding the engagements, commanding the kills, BN never really had an edge in on top 5. So, my name's Gordon the Wonder Cow. I'm here casting CEVO with Chicago Ted. Chicago Ted, why don't you go ahead and tell them where they can find you, bud? Yep, you can follow my personal Twitch page at twitch.tv/Chicago__Ted, or you can follow me on Twitter at TedCast. And my name is Gorgon the Wonder Cow. You can catch me over at twitch.tv/GotCow and on Twitter at GotCowDota. That's GOTCOWDOTA. And of course, make sure you follow CEVO at Play